In general, it depends on the sector and the country, but we're finding in our analysis of European industrial sector, which is probably one of the key off-takers of hydrogen, is to be relatively low now, because what they're looking at is the alternative fuel, which is natural gas or coal prices. So if you're just comparing the cost of green hydrogen versus natural gas and coal, green hydrogen is more expensive. However, we're expecting in the 2030s and 2040s for the off-taker willingness to pay to be increasing, and that's driven by rising fossil fuel prices because you're competing against a more expensive fuel. But it's also driven by the EU ETS sector, the removal of free allowances, which means that the EU ETS price is going to be increasing, as well as the more attractiveness of the free permits that hydrogen producers are making when they're producing hydrogen and getting free allowances. And so we're expecting in the 2030s, 2040s, kind of depending on the country and the industry, it should start to meet the cost of producing green hydrogen, but it really depends on specific subsidies and specific rules, and these are all based on Aurora's central forecast, so we also have different scenarios around that. There's also the one thing to point out is RED III, so that's imposing different obligations on industrial sectors to decarbonize. It's very unclear right now what the penalties are. So if the penalties are zero, then the RED III doesn't really play a role in the willingness to pay. But if the penalties are very strict or very onerous, then that could increase the willingness to pay. So this is definitely a sector that Aurora is watching to see, like, what are the penalties and what are the rules around it.